Welcome back to game number 2 here at the After Hours Gaming League. Week number 7, we've got our fight between Palantir and GREE. In game number 2, we'll be starting out with a Terran player in the top left-hand side for Palantir. It is Raw Octopus. I'm instantly reminded of the movie Old Boy. If you haven't seen Old Boy, you are doing something wrong. You should go and see it. It's the greatest movie ever. But you'll know what I'm talking about when I say, well, when we see the name Raw Octopus, if you've seen that movie. If you have, post in the comments, because that'd be quite funny. Anyway, our Protoss player down in the bottom right-hand side is our red player from GREE. It is Johnny LML. And, this is of course Acheron Wastes, or I don't know, people get the names mixed up. It's Acheron Wastes in Heart of the Swarm and Acheron Flats in Wings of Liberty, isn't it? I'm pretty sure that's what it is, something like that. I don't know, I haven't actually played Wings of Liberty for a little bit because the recent patch messed up my my Wings of Liberty. So, and Heart of the Swarm has of course been quite a lot of fun to play. With the new units, with the new upgrades, with various changes that have been made to the game, I think Heart of the Swarm is just an absolute winner when it comes to the entertainment factor. Of course, you get things like Vipers abducting units, you get Blinding Cloud, you get the Hellbats running in, doing incredible amounts of damage. All these kinds of things are really interesting to see, and I think it makes the game a lot more watchable. Tell me what you think. If you agree, then post in the comments or whatever on this video, because I certainly think that it's a lot more interesting to watch some of the Heart of the Swarm games that we've seen recently. Of course, the GSTL preseason in Heart of the Swarm, of course, the MLG qualifiers, all these kinds of cool things going on now. We'll see how we go with the beta going down very soon, so there's going to be the last chance to play some of the game now. Looks like Raw Octopus is going to start out. He's got some very quick gas there, wants to get a Marine out, probably going to go up to a quick expansion, I would expect. His opponent has gone to the quick gas as well. Just going to look pretty standard here from both of these players. Of course, we see our Protoss player Johnny LML grab a second gas. Now, a lot of the time, a lot of players have sort of been taking 2 gas in PvT as a way to try and deal with problematic things like early Reapers, like of course the Oracles and sorry, not Oracles, the Widow Mines. I get those two confused because I play Protoss and Terran, so it gets a little bit confusing as to which harassment is most annoying sometimes. Yeah, so some people like to get the double gas just to make sure they have the options to go up to some of the other tech sort of trees, like perhaps an early Stargate, perhaps straight up to Robo, so you can get a couple of observers out, these kinds of things. And it's just been something which a lot of players have been experimenting with. I don't think we're at a point yet where people can say, alright, this is the most solid build and it's going to be a complete winner every single time, but it's good to have options, of course. So we see Johnny LML going up to the Warp Gate tech as quickly as possible. We've got a Stargate just off to the side, exactly what I'm talking about, having these options available, not only to have the detection of the Oracle, but also to utilize the harassment potential that unit has. Now look at that, the Reaper has not seen the Stargate that's there. So Raw Octopus, he's going to have a little bit of a scout around. He's trying to find out where the tech is, but eventually the Reaper gets out, is going to heal up a little bit, perhaps sit at the Zelnaga Watchtower here and probably will take down this probe, but well, he's going to be a little bit confused right now, because he's going to say, alright, well, you've got 2 gas, what's going on here, because I'm a little bit confused, and he's going to see that there are a couple of extra gates. Looks like the Reaper will just escape from the clutches of that Stalker sitting at the top of the cliff, and we'll probably see that Octopus may play a relatively safe style for now. It looks like he has not gone for the quick expansion. He got an eBay up as quickly as possible. Factory getting a couple of Widow Mines out, along with a second barracks. So he is, well, he's going to stick on one base for the moment. No expansion going up for either of these players just as of yet. Reaper still scouting about, trying to find out where this hidden tech is, because he has not seen a single thing inside the Protoss base. Unfortunately for him, it was in the one small position that he didn't actually scout. So Johnny looks to be going for the Void Ray opening. Of course, this has been a strategy which has been used a little bit you know, grabbing a couple of Void Rays. Of course, these guys do extra damage against armored units and buildings, of course, that means. So these are some things which you have to be very careful of as a Terran player. You got to watch out for these Void Ray based pushes. And as you can see, with the 3 gates along with that, I think that Johnny is going to go for this sort of this 3-gate Void Ray timing push. It's a little bit old school if you look at it that way. There is also an Oracle just that has made its way across the map, and I think this guy is going to be looking to get some harassment done. But a couple of Widow Mines have distracted Johnny for the moment. It looks like they're not going to get inside. Well, one of them's definitely not going to get inside, but one does burrow on the ramp there, so he is going to be able to take a shot. And of course, the Stalker taking the brunt of that attack. Some of the Zealots here getting a few shots on the side. The Void Ray also losing some of its shields. But here we go. It looks like the Oracle going to come across, activating the Envision mode, and that clears out that Widow Mine. So Johnny was going to go for some initial harassment, but has now been thwarted for the moment. He's been forced back. Raw Octopus just scouting about with the SCV is able to find that there is a proxy pylon here, so I think we'll probably see him throw down another bunker, if not 2, because he is going to have a lot of Protoss to deal with very soon, and the attack is coming about. We've got 3 Stalkers, we've got some Zealots as well, of course the Void Ray, and the Oracle now going to try and go down the back into the main base. He's got some energy there. 80 energy is up and running for that, but as you can see, he just comes straight across, and I think that Oracle is not going to have a good time getting busted down. This means that there is now no detection here for Johnny. A little bit of miscontrol there. Of course, the turret is able to do a sizable amount of damage to both of those Void Rays, but they still do survive. The question is, will these Widow Mines be factored into this fight in just a moment? It looks like Johnny being forced back for the moment. It looks like he is going to try and still continue to put the pressure on. I don't think he's really going to be able to get too much done, because with the turret there, the Void Rays have to stay back for a bit, and then, bam, you get a Widow Mine in the face, which means that the Void Ray is taken down. The Zealots trying to get their way inside the main base, but double Widow Mine attack, and as you can see, two of those Marines getting taken out by the splash of the Widow Mines as well. So that was a little bit unfortunate of an attack for Johnny, so he's been put in a little bit of an awkward position. We've got him sitting on one base. He's invested quite a lot in this attack. He's trying to get another Void Ray out, but I'm not sure if this is the best option right as of now. Perhaps an Oracle might be a better idea from here, but we do see that War Octopus has got his second base going now. He's up to 32 workers right now, of course, with the added bonus of in a moment he'll have the extra orbital command, which means that he'll have more mules going, which means a lot more production. So we'll probably see I think maybe a timing push coming out of Raw Octopus. It sort of depends on how he wants to play this. You could do this 2 ways. You could expand right now if you wanted to, and you could also get prepared for a 2-base timing attack, but it looks like he is just going to pump out a few Marines, and no real definitive sign of what he's going to do just yet. But of course, Johnny needs to recover from this position. He's sitting with his work account at 24. Not good at all for him right now. He's going to want to try and boost that up as quickly as possible. There is an observer about to pop out to make sure he does have some detection at least, but Johnny is scanned there, so we'll see. Is Octopus going to see this and say, alright, well, he's invested 400 minerals in this, perhaps I could go for an attack. The sort of small issue that he has right now is that Stim has only just started up, so he's going to be a little bit behind on the Stim right now. But, you know, he does have, of course, the added bonus of a few Widow Mines out. You can use Widow Mines with your attack, unburrow, bring them across with the rest of the army here. And it looks like that may be what he's going to do. We've got a lot of Marines here. There are some, of course, those Widow Mines as well. Not to mention some of these Hellbats, Hellions, I should say. They're not Hellbats just as of yet. Of course, the recent patch, you need the transformation servos, which is researched at the factory. Once you have an armory. So we won't have any of those out just yet, but he is building a couple more of those factory units. Raw Octopus sitting in a position where he's in a very, very nice spot right now. 87 supply for him. Of course, he's up against a 59 supply Protoss right now, but you can never underestimate these Void Rays. Of course, adding in their bonus damage against the armored units. In fact, how many armored units do we have? I think we've got... Have we got none? Alright, never mind the bonus damage of the Void Rays, because there is actually, there are no armored units in this force here, and interestingly enough, an Immortal comes out from Johnny, so I don't think he's really seen what's coming. What he really needs right now is some splash damage, because these Marines are going to be absolutely annoying as hell to deal with. And with an Immortal, you know, you do some nice damage, but I mean, it's not the best way to try and take out Marines, and of course, these Widow Mines that are about to come about. So we'll see the Widow Mines move up, just provide a sort of protected position right here. If he can perhaps lure some of the Protoss units across, he might be able to blast them down, but he says, alright, you've got some force fields going there. What we're going to do is just sit back for the moment. One of these Widow Mines is a little bit, he definitely wants to go in. Look at this guy, he's actually just out of the field of view there for Johnny LML. But continuing on with the push, it looks like we will have a couple more Hellions coming about. Of course, the Hellions doing extra damage against the Zealots, but I mean, you know, there's not actually too much here that he needs to worry about. He could probably just 1A into this position right here. He's got stim now, no combat shields just yet, but of course that's not going to be too much of a worry, considering that there is virtually nothing here to defend. But a couple of cannons going up. We do have a Colossus now popping out. So Johnny, well, he will be okay for the moment, but this has put a severe dent in his economy right now. He's still down at 36 workers. Of course, not the most efficient mining just as of yet, but he is going to try and boost that back up as quickly as possible. Raw Octopus just going to sit outside while he establishes a third base and gets a little bit more of his production going. Of course, we've got a couple of medevacs that are now going to come across the map. Perhaps he could go in for a push with the Hellbats if he transforms the Hellions into those Hellbats, and you can of course heal them up with the medevacs as well. So that's a really nice position to be in. It looks like a couple of force fields does capture one of those Hellions, but I mean, it's not the greatest sort of situation still. He needs another Colossus to come out, but yeah, there it is. Alright, so he did get a second Colossus. This should force the push back, so there's no real way with two Colossus out, not to mention extended double lance on the way, that that Raw Octopus is going to be able to push in against this. He does of course have the extra additional power of those Widow Mines that are there, but you know, will he be able to burrow them in time? It looks like we'll have a push coming across. Combat shields finishing just in time, but I mean, with a couple of good force fields, it looks like the Colossi are able to deal a very sizable amount of damage here. The Widow Mines unable to burrow. They move to the back. They're going to try and... Are they going to burrow? Yes, they are. There they go. So they do burrow right at the back here. A couple of the shots go off, taking down one of the Colossi. Will they be able to get rid of the others? No, they won't. And unfortunately, that's a very annoying sort of loss there for Raw Octopus, losing some of those units there, and only being only these couple of last Widow Mines left alive, along with those medevacs as well. So he's, you know, he's still in a very good position though. I mean, he's on 3 bases. He's currently up at 56 workers. Going to try and boost that up a little bit, but you know, with his production capability, look at this base layout is quite funny. I sort of, you know, most players you'll sort of see them lining up buildings like in these sorts of positions here, but he's just sort of put them randomly all over the map here. I kind of, as a person who is used to Brood War, where you had to be very careful as a Terran how you positioned all your buildings based on whether things would get blocked in, where they would pop out, all these kinds of things. You have to be very, you know, I sort of look at this and I think, ooh, this is a little bit worrisome. Some of those units could get blocked off, but you know, not to worry. He's of course building a mainly bioforce, so bio units don't really care about the space that they have to come out through. And you know, as we can see, Johnny, he's scouting out what's going on. He can finally find out that he is now behind in bases. He's got his opponent here sitting on 3 bases, mining away quite nicely. A planetary fortress going to help protect this base here, and he's going to try and establish his own third. But I mean, this is going to be a very difficult one to hold. He does have those 2 Colossi, which are going to be quite helpful, but you know, is he going to have enough units out to try and defend against a push, which I would assume is going to be coming very soon here from Raw Octopus. He has started the level 2 infantry weapons now, but you know, he could go for the push right now, and I think, there you go, he's going to go for it. We've got 4 Vikings now added in to this force. We've got a few Hellbats as well. Of course, these guys fantastic at tanking when they've got their medevac support, and they will do a really nice job, just as I said, tanking up and also doing a good amount of damage against Zealots as well. So it looks like he is going to try and push into the 3rd base here. The supply counter up at 150, well, 163 now for Raw Octopus. His opponent, is, well, struggling at 109 right now. We've got 3 Colossi out. You can never underestimate the power of 1-1-1 Colossi when they've got extended thermal lance. If he can just maneuver them into the correct position to keep them out of range of the Vikings, then they certainly could do a lot of damage, especially if Raw Octopus tries to push through this very narrow choke point right now. But he's not going to do that. He's going to force his opponent to build some more units and invest in his units instead of his economy. And I have no idea what these Stalkers are doing. These guys just running across, getting blasted apart. And in fact, Johnny is not sure either. And GG's out, because that is effectively the end of that. No protection for the Colossi or the Void Rays against the Vikings there. So we go to a score of 2-0. We've got Palantir well in the lead right now in this. If they go into the next game with their confidence, they may be able to take it out 3-0. We'll see though. Perhaps GREE is able to come back. We'll jump into that next game in just a moment.